to Twins of Chaos podcast for episode 4. We're really happy to be here. It is a bright and early Friday afternoon, which is really weird because we usually film at night because we both forget we have to film. And so we're here bright and early in the morning, which is really odd. It just feels a little bit weird right now. So we have a kind of a kind of a hectic episode, kind of heavy, but it'll be fine. And this episode is a two-parter, so you'll see the first part out Sunday, and then the second part should be out sometime eventually, whenever we film that one. What are we talking about today, Miia? What are we talking about?
Okay, so today we are going to discuss the topic of trauma, specifically childhood trauma. I know myself, I have a lot of childhood trauma, and I know a lot of people out there do, and I feel like it's just not discussed as much as I would like it to be. And so we are going to talk about our traumas and how we reacted to it, how it affects us, and just all that fun stuff. So do you want to do a quick catch up real quick before we get into it?
Now let's catch up. Okay, so currently, we started the first 2 chapters of our book, or so more so the outlines. So we're getting there. Writing should start very soon. Fingers crossed. Yes. Because I'm really excited to write this piece and to create it. And I'm sorry, I'm really happy about it because it came out of nowhere one day, and I love writing. So I'm really happy to be creating that project with her. Big things are happening. I don't know if y'all know this. We do have a Spotify page. We do have Spotify. I think that's it for me right now. I don't really have much going on other than just being alive. My birthday's next week. My birthday's next Tuesday. So that's all I got. Okay.
Not much has happened. I do have a fancy interview today. It's for a rehab place. But I'm applying to be a receptionist, which is fun. But besides that, I mean, we've been working on the book, been working on the podcast, trying to keep up with all the social media accounts and trying to reach out and just connect with people. Yeah, I don't really. Oh, I got my hair. I did my hair. We did my hair.
Yeah. There will be a vlog coming out soon about this. I am learning how to export iPhone data onto an Android device first, and then it will be edited and then it will be out. But it's the Valentine's Day vlog. So
yes, so basically she came in, picked me up, and I told her I wanted my hair done because my birthday is literally like a week and a half after yours or something.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
So for the last 2 years or 3 years, she's done my hair for me. And I started doing my own hair, but the only thing I struggle with is sectioning. Don't ask me to section. I can't do it. So she sections my hair for me, and then I install the braids, and that's just how we do things. I think I've had braids the last 3 years on my birthday, actually.
Yeah.
I think so. Ever since you started.
It works. I mean, it's cute.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the red and the black, the little headband.
It is really nice. I will say that.
It is. Let's get into it. So we are going to break this first section up in 3 parts. It will be called the before the diagnosis, during it, and after. So before we get into that, I think we should explain what exactly we were diagnosed with.
Okay.
So if you want to start that off, you can.
Yeah, I don't have. Okay, so in terms of official diagnosis, um, without going into explicit detail of my mental health journey, I am diagnosed with OCD. I have a unidentified multiple personality disorder. She did not say what it was. She told me that I am a manic depressive. I have ADHD. I'm a tad bit on the spectrum. I know it sounds like a lot. And she dumped and when I did an evaluation, I went to the office and I sat down and she just dumped all this on me. And I'm like, oh, okay. She told me that all of my trauma, especially my more, because I originally I went for an autism test to see.
Mm-hmm.
And when she had told me that I'm a little bit on the spectrum, she said you can self-identify, but majority of your autistic traits come from your childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. She's like, so this wasn't installed in you. It was a traumatic response to whatever happened to you.
Right.
So I'm not technically autistic, and that's fine. I don't identify as it. I just identify as a traumatized person. So I have really gnarly PTSD. It's actually kind of dormant right now, which is yay. I did a lot of therapy and a journey to get to where I'm at now mentally. And I've had my lows, I've had my highs, but right now we're in the middle and we're happy with it. But yeah, that's pretty much all of my diagnosis, I think. She also told me I was a borderline sociopath, which scares the ever living shit out of me because I was unaware of that trait in me. But don't take that as
I'm
but
sorry,
don't take that
somebody.
don't take that's it's not meant to be scary. I promise you. I'm not a sociopath, but she says I have sociopathic traits. So
I'm so sorry.
yeah.
I did not mean to laugh.
And all of it is because of the stuff I went through as a kid. That's where all of my most of my mental illness comes from, and it's getting better because I've been working in therapy.
So I got a little laundry list of mine. They say I have depression, which, in my opinion, who doesn't?
They say
Have
I
it?
have depression.
Yeah. I get a little sad sometimes.
They say I have depression. What the fuck?
Yeah, I do have anxiety, and then they told me I have chronic panic attacks. Because I went through this time period where I had like 7 to 10 panic attacks a day. When I tell you that was probably the most exhausting thing to ever go through, it was horrendous.
I've had them before. They're rough.
I also have PTSD. I have bipolar 2, and they say that my bipolar is where I have like what's it like I'm more reactive throughout my bipolar. My old therapist says I'm a violent bipolar. So
Okay.
and then I have BPD. And they told me that like with my bipolar specifically, that's the one I was like attempting to work through. My old therapist told me, he's like, do you ever get like really upset where you feel like you need to do something physically? And I'm like, yeah, I threw a lamp at my ex-boyfriend for cheating on me before. He's like, you don't think you could have talked it out? I'm like, no. No. There's just some things I feel like cannot be solved with words. That was one of those things.
You know what? Your ex-boyfriend was so shitty that it makes sense. Like, yeah, hit him with that bitch at this point.
I feel like after dealing with him, because he was my first boyfriend, and he was probably the worst boyfriend I've ever had, truly. I feel like anything I do to him or say about him is granted. It truly is.
That's for another episode, though. That's going to be a crazy.
Yeah,
That's going to be a crazy story time, guys.
I'm
stick
excited
around
for
for the
that
story
one.
time of her first ex.
All right, so that is what we basically are diagnosed with. Let's talk about before we got diagnosed. How did we feel? How did we see the world? Like, why why did we go and get diagnosed in the first place? Like, what triggered that thing in you where you thought something isn't right? We need to figure something out. Like, what's going on?
Okay, so not exposing too many details about my family because they are watching this, and I will not appreciate phone calls. Um, I grew up as a very emotionally neglected child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wasn't talked to a lot. I was talked at. If that was your childhood, you get what I mean by that, but it's a really hard concept to understand of getting talked at and not talked to. And I had a lot of extensive trauma with that led me down this really negative road of self-destruction. Um I had my first breakdown at 16. I tried to end my life, and my ex-boyfriend talked me through a attempt by playing Minecraft menu music and crying because he was also attempting at the same time. I'm so sorry. This isn't fucking funny. This isn't funny.
It's not, but the way you're describing it,
I've never said that out loud before.
I think there's a reason for that.
After that, I went through a lot of self-destruction. I don't know what really happened in between 16 to 18 years old. But according to a couple sources, it was a severe caffeine addiction caused by a man who did not give me a severe caffeine addiction. And it was also caused by Miia, who drove me to insanity.
Mm-hmm. I'm good at it, apparently.
I had my second breakdown at 18, exactly 1 month after my birthday, in a Dairy Queen bathroom
Mm-hmm.
on the floor. And I got put into a psych ward the next day, the next morning. I lost my job that morning. I texted my best friend. He did not answer. He, in fact, just read my message. He left me on red. I texted Miia when I was about 10 minutes away from the facility so that she wouldn't come chasing after me. We had lived relatively close to Cleveland. I got hospitalized very far upstate, up in the Cleveland area. And I was very unhappy about it. I had sent her a message because way later than I was intending to, on purpose, because I knew she would overreact. Because during this really toxic period, we were attached at the hip. It was very, very severe. And so I sort of had to not tell her to forever. And then she asked me where I was, and I did not tell her where I was being hospitalized
That was
until
so
later.
mean. That was so mean of you.
Yes. She was back home with her parents at the time, right? No,
No,
you was still in town.
I was with ex-boyfriend. I was with the ex-boyfriend. I was at his house laying down, and I get a call from you, and you're like, "Hey, Miia." I'd be like, "Hey, Maddie, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just on my way to a mental hospital." And I freaked out.
I If I had told you earlier, you would have went off and like demanded our friend at the time to get in the car with her mom and drive all the way out to where I was at, because I was only an hour and a half away.
Yes,
Actually,
I
maybe
would.
less than.
You were okay because I did make the drive twice because I had to bring you freaking deodorant, and then I forgot the deodorant.
I
So I
wasn't
just
allowed
brought you
having deodorant
plain.
anyways. I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed having it anyways. They would have taken it.
Yeah. Um, I think you're about an hour and a half, give or take, with
Yeah,
traffic.
it wasn't that bad of a drive back home, I remember.
Yeah, because we would leave after like 4 or 5, and so we're hitting like the traffic and stuff. So it's probably less than we actually drove.
Yeah.
And then they had me, a new driver, driving on the freaking interstate. I don't know whose grand idea that was.
I just remember in the middle of my psych ward visit, I had called her and she was just sobbing on the phone, begging. She's like, "I'll go in there. I'll tell them I have an eating disorder. I'll go in there. I promise you, I'll be in there with you tomorrow." I'm like, "Please don't admit yourself into a psych ward for me."
Well, the funny thing was, I did have an active eating disorder at the time.
Well, you did, but they would have held you way. I told you don't do that because they're going to hold you way longer than they're going to hold me.
I was
And you're like,
devastated.
it was tough for you. It was very tough. It was actually kind of tough for everyone in my inner circle. No one really talks about what happened when I was in the psych ward. Um, I know very little detail of how people felt, what was happening. All I remember is that our friend had a birthday. And I remember calling, being like, "Happy birthday, girl. Wish I could celebrate with you." And they didn't do anything for me in there. I ended up getting out. And then I went through a very intense with a psychiatrist, like a 6 months with a psychiatrist, and then I dropped my psychiatrist and got into therapy after attempting to murder my roommate with a knife because he left a wet towel on the floor and he called me a crazy bitch and that I need help. And so I end up getting therapy. And then that's sort of when everything started rolling, like diagnosis wise. But that's how I got there. It was a long.
I can speak for everyone here. I'm so glad you found something.
Mhm.
Therapy, anything. Because my goodness.
I was a mess.
Before my diagnosis, I grew up, I don't know how I grew up. Like I was like happy ish until I was 10. Um I don't want to get into like too many details, but when I was 10, some assault happened, some SA, but we tried therapy when I was about 10 and a half after I told my parents what happened. I don't think I actually ever went to therapy when I was little though. Because we would go to a building. Like they would give us different buildings because since I did report it to like the police and stuff, they set us up
Oh,
with
you
like a
did the
social
official
worker.
way.
Yeah, they set us up with like a social worker, detective, all this and that. So like the detective or social worker, whoever was working with us, would give us like this address and give us this time and be like, this is like go here at this time and this therapist will be there for her. And so my mom was like, okay, got you. And we go, and it would look like the sketchiest building ever. Like, you know how in those movies there's like abandoned like warehouses and stuff?
Yeah.
It looked like that. And me being 10, I'm traumatized. I don't even want to like be there. I'm just looking around. I'm like, "Mom, I ain't going in there." I straight up told her several times, "I'm not going in that building." And so she didn't make me. But then I realized there was something different about me, especially like in high school, because like high school is just confusing because there's like hormones going around, things are changing and stuff. And I remember what did it for me. So I have a guy best friend from high school that I still speak to today. And I'm sure if he saw this, he can attest for this. I was the most emotional person ever. Oh, so
You were.
emotional. I
Your
was
poem
so.
wrote it.
Oh yeah. She found my stack of poems I left at her house once. They were very depressing and suicidal almost. Um, but I had a crush on my guy best friend, and anytime this was so pathetic, it was anytime he got a girlfriend. Usually, like friends are supposed to be like, "Oh my god, so happy for you." Not me. No, not even in the slightest. I told her before, I don't like you. I hate you. Break up with her right now. And he wouldn't. And I would get mad. And then I would cry. Like there was several times he just looked at me and I just started bawling my eyes out like waterfall automatically. And he was like, "There's something wrong with you." I'm like, "No, there's not. You just don't know what you want." And so I went and I found a therapist and I'm like, "Hey, I have an issue. I can't stop crying every time I walk into school and look at my best friend." And then he's like, "I think it's deeper than that." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't stop crying in general. It's everything. Anything that makes me the slightest bit upset, I cry automatically. Like if we had plans and you told me, "Oh, I can't do it. I'll come see you like tomorrow." I'll cry automatically. I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like being I don't like someone like disappointing me, and I just tend to cry. But that's when I knew something was wrong with me in the bipolar aspect. But I didn't feel like right in general.
Yeah, okay.
It's just something about him, like the way he talks or the way he's very direct with me. He doesn't like bullshit with me. He's very direct and like stern with me, and I think that's what I don't like. And I think I get upset and I just start crying, and like he doesn't know how to react because he doesn't know how to help sad people. He's really bad at it. He's the type person to be like, "They're there. It's okay. It's okay. Stop crying."
No, I have so many people like that in my life, and I don't know why, because I'm one of those people, whenever something goes wrong, well, definitely before I believed in like the sky, before I stopped believing the sky is falling every single time I have a problem, I would like run to people and they'll be like, "Yay, I'm so glad. Ooh,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
okay?" I'm
That's
like,
literally how he is.
you know what Chris tells me every time I go to his problem, every time I go to him with like intense emotional problems, he's like, "You should really talk to your therapist about that." I'm like, asshole.
Dude, you want to know what he tells me? After my last relationship, I came to him, I'm like, "I'm really sad. I need your help to like cheer me up. Like say something that makes me happy." He's like, "I think you should go to Maddie for that." He puts me off to you. During. So how did we react during the trauma? How did it affect us? How we saw the world, all this and that. Do you want me to? For me personally, I feel like I went down a very dangerous road during it. Because me as a person, I don't process how other people do. It takes me a long time. It takes me a very, very long time to process anything. And we were on the phone one night and I was telling you about this. And you're the one who made me like see, like, "Yo, this is what happened to you. It's not okay. You got hurt." And I remember telling you, "No, I didn't get hurt. It's okay." And you're like, "No, Miia, you got hurt." I was like, "Oh, okay." But when I was trying to process everything, I kind of just like spun out of control. I started drinking a lot more. I was drunk every single day. From the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, I was drinking and partying. It was intense.
That's a crazy thing to do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate drinking.
I would literally start at 7 a.m.
Joking.
I wouldn't stop until 3 in the morning. And then it was really bad. And that's not where I stopped. Oh no. Then I started smoking a lot. I smoked every
Mm.
day, several times a day, just so that I could like numb that feeling, because for a long time I would describe it as I could still feel them on me, and I hated that feeling. Like I remember I told you one time I wanted to rip my skin off, and
Oh,
you were the only person that like understood that feeling, because like when I would tell like other people, they'd be like, "Oh, ew, that's not good, Miia." No, it's not good, but it's how I feel. I wanted to literally rip my skin off and just walk around as a skeleton. I was fine like that.
no, I get
And
that. I get,
yeah,
it's a weird
it was
feeling.
very,
It really is.
yeah, it was really hard for me to realize I had a problem, because everyone told me like, "Miia, you need help. You have an issue. Like you're a raging alcoholic and you can't stop smoking." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. Leave me alone. Fuck you." Um but no, I did have a problem because I couldn't go an hour without smoking. That's how bad it was.
What are we talking? What are we talking about? Like, are we talking about like cigarettes, or are we talking about the other one?
Both.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the
I
clarification.
don't I don't know if I can say it or not. Both.
Um, okay.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Quick question though.
Okay.
How do you think that during this process, like this is before medication, right?
Yes.
Like before medication, before managing your bipolar, did you think you felt more normal on substances then? Like, is
Yeah.
that? I mean, you had a full-time job at the time, didn't you? Were
Yes,
you
I
working?
was working in the medical field. I was a DSP in the medical field for 2.5, almost 3 years.
So in a way, you sort of you were a functioning. There's a fly. Ignore him. There you so you were a functioning alcoholic,
Hmm.
a functioning drug addict, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very
How
functioning,
long?
because when I would go to work, no one knew I was drunk, and no one knew that I was smoking or anything. Fake
How
it
do
till
you
you make it.
think did you? How did you break that habit?
I'm broke. I couldn't afford it. I honestly could not afford my habits anymore, because so I was working a lot as well at this time. I was working from 40 to 80 hours a week, and I was getting paid decent for the time. It was what, 2020. I was making about 13.75 an hour. So that's not too bad for that time being.
No, it wasn't
Um
bad for the time because the pandemic had just happened. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then also I got my taxes back, and I got my stimulus checks. Um
oh, that money was good. Mm.
I spent it all on drugs and alcohol. I truly did. What really got me to stop was I ended up in the hospital with several times. I went to the hospital for alcohol poisoning before, and then I found out I was allergic to marijuana. I physically couldn't.
Do you think that you smoking so much of it created an adverse it's not maybe it's not an allergy, but it created an adverse reaction because you had so much of it? You think your body could have just been rejecting it at that point because you've been doing it so often?
It could, because I also got laced a few times. I got laced at a few parties I went to. Um, and that's where the panic attacks came from. Because I've never had one before that time period. And then I started getting them all the time, because the first time I got one, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on. And I had one of my old friends, and she's like, "Oh, I think you're having a panic attack." I'm like, "I don't know. but I want to cry. And so I had a panic attack for 3 hours straight, and
Yeah.
I broke a bed. I broke a charger. I dug my nails because I used to have really long, like acrylic nails. Like, you remember that. I dug them into my
Mm-hmm.
skin so much that I broke off every single nail. And that's kind of why I had to like chill out. Like, I didn't stop completely for a long time. I just like slowed down on it because one, I couldn't afford it. Two, my health was basically deteriorating. Um, I couldn't function without having a shot in the morning. Like, I had, I had a big bottle of vodka right next to my bed every morning, so I take a shot when I woke up. Like most people drink water, vodka for me.
Vodka for breakfast.
Yeah, vodka for breakfast. That was mine. But I also went through this phase of being angry at everyone. I was not a fun person to be around. No one liked me, and I completely understand that. Um, I would be screaming, yelling. I would fight over anything and everything if it didn't go my way. And that wasn't just my bipolar, that was mainly my trauma talking. Like, it was kind of a way of like reaching out without reaching out, like saying I need help, but I also didn't really want the help. I could understand that I needed it, but I wasn't ready to accept it. And then I got sad. I got so fucking sad about everything. And that's pretty much how it started, at least like during it. Now, what about for you?
Well, for me, my process was a little bit different. I had a very after my breakdown, um cute little life story real quick. After my breakdown, I lived with my parents for about 6 months before I got kicked out, or more so chose to leave. But I was explicitly kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
Um I moved in with Chris for a very long time. We lived with each other. We were severely codependent with each other. And that's sort of how I coped with a lot of it. And the codependence was so bad that whenever he would go anywhere else, like sometimes he would go stay the night at his friend's house. And I would just be up all night with that. Like, I would have like severe anxiety. Like, I thought I was going to die. Like,
I remember
anxiety.
you would call me. You would stay on the phone with me
And
almost all night.
I would have little breakdowns. So I had a massive breakdown in a mall. By the way, I was still doing therapy at this point. Like, I was still in therapy. And well, actually, I'm a little head. I'm a little head. Let's go back a little further. So me and her worked at a pizza shop together. I was medicated by this point. I was on a
Thank God.
beautiful pill called Stratera that I carried around with me everywhere I went.
It was your
Um,
lifeline.
I started getting into I got into pre-workout. That was a really bad phase of mine because my heart would constantly beat so fast. And I was also low-key addicted. I was addicted to door dashing like food as well. I had no money during this moment. I never had any money. I never had like I always felt like my heart was going a little too fast because I would throw back a Red Bull whenever I started feeling tired. I didn't sleep very well. That's how me and her would like sit on the phone all night forever and ever and ever. Oh my god, this fly. Then the worst part, I think rock bottom sort of hit when the wall started talking to me, and then I started seeing things, and I had to get off medication for that reason. And then I ended up moving. I ended up moving, and it was miserable. I lived in a basement. And at this point, I was having these panic attacks, these anxiety attacks that never really ended. Like, it was a constant piece. And then eventually I got off all psych meds altogether. And I just dedicated myself to I do what do they call that? DMTR or something? DMRT, whatever. That trauma therapy. I have a art therapist currently. She's wonderful. I'm actually have a scheduled appointment in a little bit, so this is kind of funny. But it was really unhealthy. Uh I then I got into a little bit of drinking. And let me tell you, I don't know if you were around for my alcoholism era. No, we had a big fight. Her previous ex, her most recent ex, I didn't like him very much because he gave me like an ick vibe. And I remember I was really drunk that night and she was arguing with me over text messages. And I just remember in my AirPods, I was blasting Late Night Talking by Harry Styles. Um, and and what happened is that like then we didn't talk for a while. We didn't talk for like 2 weeks straight. I cut out pretty much everyone in my life except Chris. And then I was with my current partner. But I always kept him out of my mental illness and out of my problems because I was worried that he would be all like, I didn't want him to feel like he had to help me, that he had to like keep me afloat. And that's something to talk about in the relationship episode too, but that's to come as well. And I guess it just took a toll on me. I loved me some coconut Malibu. I would drink that as well. I got into, it was a short stint for alcoholism, very short stint, because I hated being drunk a lot. I fell over a baby gate drunk. I had wine for dinner once, just wine for dinner. It was a very, very unhealthy thing that I was going through. And then eventually I found drugs, which sounds bad. Um, but they've helped me calm down a little bit more. And I'm not like, and I'm not on something all the time. I can be off. I can be sober now. That's what I'm trying to say. I can be sober, which is great. But back then there was no sobriety. It was nothing. It was either I'm high, I'm drunk, or I'm fucking miserable. It's like
Yeah.
that's the three. Like that's how it went. That's what it was like during.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Now,
was my during.
I also think that we connect more because, like, not only did we grow up together, I feel like we just get along better. Even though we do have fights here and there, I feel like everyone does. And I also feel like if we didn't fight about a few things here and there, then there's something wrong with us, truly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
If we agree on everything, I think for one, it'd be boring for us. And for two,
Yes.
there would really be nothing to discuss. I don't want to agree with everything that you say, or I don't want you agreeing with everything that I say just because it's easier that way, or it avoids conflict. I don't like that idea.
I have I've had friendships like that where I've always felt like I had to be in agreement or it was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I have left those behind because I felt like those are suffocating. They're very suffocating friendships. And I appreciate how there's disagreements. There's some days we don't like each other. There's some things we do that gets under each other's skin. That is a natural part of adulting, and we're growing up and we're learning. So by the time we're 45, we'll like each other again. But
Yeah,
until
yeah,
then, we'll just be hater ass bitches
that's fine
from
with me.
across the lake.
All right, let's get into the after, and then we're going to do a few deep questions and then wrap this up. So, how do you think you feel now? Now that it's been a few years, now that you've been through therapy and your help and whatever you need to do to get yourself right, how do you think it has affected you?
Well, I've been in therapy for like 3.5 years now. It has been a
Yeah.
really long time since I've done therapy. since I've been in it. And I think that has helped me exponentially more than medication has, because my problems are not a biological thing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that. My problems are the trauma that I experienced. So the first thing I addressed was that trauma. And
Yeah.
I feel a lot better. I'm in middle ground now. I'm not having extreme highs or extreme lows as often. I will go through them every now and then, but right now my PTSD, my depression, I experience some anxiety. Um all that is dormant right now
Mm-hmm.
because of my wonderful therapist. So I think I'm doing okay. I'm way better. I'm more functional. I can save money. I can have fun. I feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not clinging to substances, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm doing better. Oh,
I feel like you do have a lot more fun, and I feel like you're a lot better as a person because, like, during that time, you were insufferable. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love you to death, and I would do anything for you. But oh my god, you were so insufferable, my dude. And I understand it. I do. Um, but I feel I like seeing this version of you. I like seeing you happy. I like seeing you make jokes. Even when we hang out, I feel like it's a better time than it was before. But no, I like this version of you. You're more open. You're way more open now, and I feel like it's easier to connect with you on a deeper level than it was before. And I'm just really happy that you got the help that you needed and that you wanted, and that you are doing your best to live the life that you truly want and truly deserve. Look at me all
yep,
sappy. Aw.
I know, right? But yeah, I really appreciate that because I feel like I have imposter syndrome. I don't acknowledge all the good things I've done. Like I don't. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of view it as like a separate person somehow. Like I'm on the outside looking in, but I feel like I am incredibly accomplished for someone who came from this. And my therapist actually asked me, he's like, "Did you ever see yourself getting here?" Like, and I'm like, "No." She's like, "With your list of traumas and problems and stuff like that, it is," she's like, "I would not expect someone with that amount to be where you are today, because most people don't make it out of that. Like, I always make a fucking reference to the hill, but most people don't make it over that hill.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like you're thinking like I think I'll never ever get out of this. Like if I look back to myself at 16, um during that one attempt, I keep thinking like, did she know that she would be as cool as I am today? Like I graduated high school, I wrote a book, like I have a podcast, I'm writing a second book. I'm doing everything. Like I feel like my parents didn't prepare me for anything in life. And so I guess that's kind of a benefit of it is you kind of just do whatever works. So yeah.
Um, for me, I feel like it's gotten a lot better, but I still feel like I am in that little like weird in between level. Um, my panic attacks have gotten a lot better. I don't have them as often anymore. I do still have my bipolar, but that's not going away,
That's just
unfortunately.
biological. That stuff's that's
Yeah.
hardwired into your brain at that point. Because I don't think
Yeah.
you're bipolar, you've always had this, meaning it's probably some sort of chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
It's not really like a trauma response because you grew up relatively normal. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
somewhat normal.
But I am getting a lot better, I feel. I mean, I still do have my days, but I feel like it's easier to get out of bed now. It was not before. If if people would have let me, I would have just rotted in bed all day long. I just would have. All right, let's move on to these questions real quick. So, all right, who inspires you to heal?
Okay, for me, for healing wise, it's not the specific person. It's more
Mm-hmm.
so my younger self, my baby self, the version of me before everything bad happened, when she was 5 and was committing plagiarism. Like I I really liked writing. I guess I liked writing. So I would take like my picture books and I would copy them onto paper. So
I did
yeah, I
that
know.
too.
It's yeah, I loved writing and I loved reading and I would read dictionaries. I actually begged my mom for a dictionary as a kid so that I
Wait,
could
you would
read
just
it.
casually wait, you would casually just read a dictionary?
I was also obsessed with spelling, so I would like always try to find really big words. That's why I speak really like I don't know why I speak kind of like uppity. That's because I
You,
use big
you
words for that
speak like
reason.
a professor.
Yeah, that's because I read a dictionary for forever. It was my favorite thing to do. I actually had a pocket dictionary I would carry around with me. I don't want to talk about it. I'm kind of nerdy in that case. I do it for her because she had dreams. She wanted to go to every single national park. She actually wrote down every single national park in the US and how to get there and all that jazz and a whole notebook. She was a very she was a very beautiful soul and I always try to find my way to give back to her as a way of like you're going to go through some really awful things, but just know that after those awful things end, because all bad things end eventually, there is there is a way out of it. And I want to make her proud most specifically. Okay.
No, you're fine. For me personally, I also think it's for like my like younger self, but also for like my family because I'm low key like the black sheep. But I think it's because I do suffer with all these like issues and they don't really understand it and I don't really want to take the time to explain to them what I feel on the inside. But I just want to be better for my future self. Like I want to have I have a whole plan. Like I have plans for myself that I want to do, but before I can do those things, I need to accomplish a few goals beforehand. And so that's kind of like the place that I'm at with all of it. Next question. Do you blame anyone specifically for the trauma you went through?
Um you're basically asking who's on my shit list. And girl,
No, you don't have to drop names or anything. You can just say yes or no.
um I don't blame one specific person. I think many different people and many many different people are responsible in all of it,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. I don't want to go I don't feel like dropping names, but I was about to. I was like, girl, here's my vendetta with everyone I hate. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, there's people.
For me, I blame people specifically. There's like 3 or 4 specific people I do blame. I'm trying my best not to because I heard that you're not supposed to blame people specifically, but I also feel like it's really
No,
freaking
fuck that.
hard when they had
No.
when they
No,
played a
fuck that
part in
person.
it.
Yeah, they played a part and they had influence. Fuck them, first of all. You see, now
Fuck
I'm getting
that.
mad. I'm getting mad.
That.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's jump into the last 3. Okay, where have you found the most or your best support during all of this?
The family I created, after I had moved out and I was kicked out, my family pretty much cut me off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that.
and it was really tough on me, especially with my brother, because me and him were the closest, and we're still
Mm.
estranged, which I don't. They'll make me cry. I don't want to go into it. I've already had this conversation way too much with my therapist. But I had lost everyone in my life, and the only people I had was you and Chris. And
Yeah.
at the time, our other two friends, they y'all were the biggest support in my life at the time, and I appreciate it. They were my created family, or my dailies, as I
Yeah,
call them.
mine would probably be you. You and my guy best friend. You two supported me a lot throughout that time. Especially you. I would call you the most because like I feel awkward talking to like my guy best friend about this stuff. But I mean, I know I can. He's always been like, "Oh, you can always talk to me." Like he's open to it. But like I don't know. I just feel like stuff like that I want to talk to you about rather than him. But I feel like you two were probably my biggest support system and still are because I know I can come to you guys for like pretty much anything. Um,
Yeah.
all right, next question. Is there a time limit to heal?
I would say no. I think healing. Well, okay. Let me explain this from someone with chronic mental illness. With a chronic mental illness, there is no healing. You sort of just cope. So I don't view healing as a thing that I worry about, because healing is sort of the definition of healing is basically recovering from something, and it goes away when you heal properly. But with this stuff that we have, this is forever. Like
Yeah, I
like
agree.
they're with you forever. There is no healing. It's coping. It's finding a new way to deal with it as time goes on. There is no there is no healing.
I completely agree. The next question we kind of already went over. The next question I have down is how did you handle the event at first? But we went through that during part of the
Yeah.
opening. So I think that is it for this week. Let's do our weekly obsessions. What are you
Okay.
obsessed with this week, Maddie?
This week I am
Obsessions.
oh, I have been listening to I Am Sasha Fierce, that Beyonce album. I have it on
Yeah.
CD. And the best song on that album is Disappear. It's one of the saddest songs I've ever heard, but it's one of those like songs that's buried in an album that no one really gives a fuck about. So I definitely
Mm-hmm.
recommend that Beyonce song. I like that whole album in general. I really have been enjoying me some like different types of music, but if you look in my I don't know what it's called, earbuds, because I know we're friends on earbuds, by the way.
Yeah,
You get
we are.
music. I listen to a
Bestie.
lot of Big X the Plug right now. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
Owen
I've
really
seen
like
it.
Owen really likes the song The Largest. And we just play it on repeat all the time. So I'm listening to a lot of Big X the Plug as well. I'm not watching any media at the moment. Other than my Spanish telenova, which I'm 55 episodes in, I think. And there's 140, so I'm not even close to finishing. But I'll get there.
Dang,
Owen has stopped speaking Spanish in his sleep because of it. Thank goodness. He now
that's
speaks
so good. That looks creepy.
English. He now speaks English in his sleep. I stopped playing it right as he falls asleep and turns it on after he goes to sleep, so he doesn't speak it to me. Anyways, yeah, that's my current obsession.
All right. Mine would have to be. I've been listening to a lot of Conan Gray. I don't know why.
Yes, the family line 10 times.
Yeah. Now I didn't add you on that app to be stalking my music. But no, it's the two main songs I'm obsessed with is Family Line, Memories, and The Cut That Always Bleeds.
Oh my god. My
What's
favorite
wrong?
my song is Family Line.
Like I promise you after we get off here, I'm blasting that music as I get ready for my interview.
Okay.
But also I'm still obsessed with my Stray Kids. No one can get me off of this. I think the last 3 episodes I've said something about them.
You said Stray Kids. Actually, there's a whole section where you were complaining that you can't afford their merch. So I kept that shit in the episode. I'm like, no, that's good. That's good.
Like I found these 2 new songs. No, oh, I have found like 4 or 5 of them because I went to go see the Stray Kids movie, and it was amazing, and I had such a fun time. And my boyfriend was sleeping. He fell asleep in the movie theater while I was just having the time of my life because it was basically like going to their concert, but they did like little interviews in between the songs, and I had so much fun. And I don't know, I love it. I love them so much. But let me stop talking about them. Let me stop.
Okay.
But yeah, that is pretty much our video for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too heavy for you guys. As always, please comment and subscribe. Follow us on our mains. And